Testing, 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 testing. Test, 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 test. All right, good morning. Today is the 25th of December, 2025. So I'm just gonna start tapping. That's what we do. We just start tapping. So today's live stream is about being cringe and not cringing at yourself. I'll be honest with you, I kind of know what that term means, but I don't really. So I need a minute to actually get the proper definition. Maybe there's a part of me that feels stupid for saying that and acknowledging that, but who gives a shit, right? Who gives a fuck? All right, let's see. What is Urban Dictionary cringe? There we go. I know that. I know that one. Fuck. When someone acts or is awkward. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So let me put this up here. Cringe. What does it mean to be cringe? Cringe, cringe, cringe. Why doesn't the application show up? Oh, there we go. That's why. Oh, come on, motherfucker. Really? Really? We're gonna do this now? Oh boy. All right. Let's see here. Let's bring this into this window. Is that why? What? Okay, there we go. Cringe. So according to Urban Dictionary, that's what that word means. It means when someone acts or is so embarrassing or awkward, it makes you feel extremely ashamed or embarrassed. I could see that though. I could totally see that. And I can see how if someone is behaving in such a way that it makes you react, right? But think about that for a second. It makes you react in a certain way. And what does that actually mean? It means that there's something inside of you that is responding to that energy. You get what I'm saying? So, like if you think about your body has different systems. It has the circulatory system, the muscular system, the skeletal system, etc., etc. Okay? Western medicine, Western science only really covers the physical aspects, right? Of the systems that govern your body. But what about the feelings? What about the energy? Like for example, Dr. Nassim Haramein has talked about like entanglement theory, I think. And there was a documentary I watched a couple years ago. It's called Thrive. And in that documentary, they mentioned and referenced the toroidal field of a human, and that everything that's alive and has a consciousness has a toroidal field of energy around it. So what are the energetics behind why you feel the way you feel? It's very likely that when you feel that cringe energy, it's very likely that when you feel cringe, that cringe energy is because you are reacting to something outside of you that's already alive within you. So what I mean is, if you feel a certain set of emotions, and one of those emotions, for example, is awkward, the energy of awkward resonates within you, okay? The energy of awkwardness resonates within you. That energy is alive. As soon as you have an experience in the outer world where that energy is there within you already, you're just going to bring that energy out of you, okay? So if someone does something cringe and they intentionally do it to be awkward or to embarrass, whatever, and then you start to feel that, what's actually happening is you're just picking up on it in the subconscious and from your nervous system, because your nervous system has that energy already basically encoded into it. It has that energy already stored. And that energy of feeling cringe is basically already alive inside of you, but you feel it anyway, right? And you think, you're thinking, oh, this person is making me feel cringe. This is making me, no, it's not. It's not making you cringe. It's already you that's making you cringe, and you're just reacting to it. That's the truth. That's the truth of this. So in order for you to dismantle that cringe energy, you have to release the emotional charge behind why you feel it in the first place. And why you feel it in the first place could be something that happened to you from childhood, for example. You could be having this experience where you were a kid and fucking you peed yourself. And then when you peed yourself, the teacher fucking said something to you where you felt embarrassed. And then something else happens to you 20 years later where someone talks about something related to that subject, and then that makes you cringe. You know what I'm saying? So I'm bringing this up because a couple of live streams ago, I had talked about how to become someone else. And I'm noticing that that video, let's get this off here. I'm noticing that that video, actually, you know what? Let's put that up for example. Let's put that up for example. Where's the thing? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's see here. Let's switch to Google Chrome, baby. Yes. Let's switch to here. Okay. Let's pull it up. And let's pull this half screen. And let's go to the studio. And let's zoom this in. All right. So, oh yeah, laugh at me because I have fucking a small amount of views or whatever the fuck. But you know what? Like, hey, not for nothing. For me, just doing this literally live stream just every single day. And this is the easiest thing in the world for me. And I'm already getting people watching without having to do any advertising. This is fucking cool. This is cool. And I like this. This feels more authentic to me. There was a time where I fucking was doing YouTube, and yeah, it grew, but it was very inauthentic to me. And it grew very fast to like 15K in a matter of months. It was very unauthentic to me. Before that, I was having to like beg people to subscribe. Like I was reaching out to my network of people and asking them, hey, can you subscribe to my YouTube channel and shit? And that went nowhere. That went nowhere. I was making all these personal training videos and that did nothing. Nothing. Oh, because you're small. No. Maybe, I don't know. All right, so let's look over here, for example. Where's the statistics? Yeah, analytics. Okay. So here's what I'm noticing. All right. This video, how to become someone else with EFT tapping live stream. Mind you, this was a shit video. This was unfortunately, I had prepared like a serious presentation and Like a dick, I didn't record it. Like a goofball, I did not record this thing. But I happened to look today when I was going live stream, because I was passing by my my dashboard or whatever, right? Like when you go to the dashboard over here, you see the main screen. I happened to notice, wait, what? Watch time 2.2 hours. Yesterday it was like 0.9. Today it's like 2.2 hours. And that tells me something. What that tells me is the following. It tells me that people are searching for things like this. And I have a lot of compassion for that. You know why I have a lot of compassion for that? Because ultimately what that means is that people don't accept themselves. So they're looking for how to become someone else. And if I had really made this a very polished video, if I really, really made this a very polished video, maybe this thing could have done more views. In that video, though, I talked about how becoming someone else really is, it's about shifting your perception. It's about shifting your beliefs, who you think you are, and changing how you feel about yourself, okay? I don't think identity change is that complicated. I've done this so many times. Like I've restarted my life over and over and over and over again. Yes, I'm looking at myself in the screen to make sure that I'm in the circle. You know, I want to make sure that I'm in the circle thing. Maybe I gotta fucking adjust this thing or something. I don't know. Whatever. I've done that. I've done that for myself many times. Many times. I've had to renew myself, basically, many times over. And at first, it's hard, but then it gets really easy, you know? And yes, I use EFT tapping now at this stage of my life. And I've been doing EFT tapping on and off since like 2018. But it's only in the last year and a half where I really started going much deeper into, you know, belief rewiring work, subconscious rewiring work. I've been doing this over the last 7 years, especially. I've been traveling all over the world and taking psychedelics like ayahuasca and iboga and magic mushrooms and etc., LSD. But when it comes to changing identity, what I found is that it's two main things. And this is what I was basically talking about in that live stream. It's two main things. Number one, your beliefs. Your beliefs about yourself dictate everything, okay? And there's a trading psychologist who's now passed away, God bless him, Dr. Van Tharp. He talked about this in several of his books. And he said that the reason why most traders don't succeed is because of their beliefs. And there are these hierarchy of beliefs, like this like pyramid model. And I'm going to make that actually. Create a reminder.
What do you want to be reminded about?
Copy the fucking spiritual beliefs stuff, the hierarchy of beliefs from Dr. Van, THARP, and put it up here on this live stream stuff.
Okay, I added it.
Yeah. So Van Tharp, he was basically saying that you've got this pyramid of beliefs, like at the very bottom of at the very bottom of the pyramid is actually spiritual beliefs. And it's your spiritual beliefs that overall shape the rest of your beliefs. Like you have different categories of beliefs: spiritual beliefs, environmental beliefs, identity beliefs, etc. But because you believe certain things about God, your inner divine, or you don't even believe in God at all, okay? God bless you if that's the case for you. If you don't even believe in that stuff, in God at all, then what happens? It's like you have this foundation that's very weak. Because if you're just relying on yourself, your perception, hey, what the fuck? Hey, get over here. Get, come on, motherfucker. Oh, great, now I gotta open up the thing. Yes, it's important to have my face in the thing. Yes, it is. It is very important because I'm building a personal brand. And when you build a personal brand, you want to make sure that your face is on everything. All right, let's go here. Okay. Hey. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, for now, that's good enough. Okay. So it's your beliefs about God, your beliefs about your inner divine, your beliefs about the universe, your beliefs about what is. That's a huge foundation. Then as you move up the pyramid, you've got different beliefs, and there's different categories of beliefs. The main thing is that for identity transformation, your beliefs about yourself, that's what's going to change your identity. And then in the live stream, or the other live stream, I talked about the number 2 point is that those beliefs are usually attached to feelings. And your feelings, how you feel about something, creates an emotional charge, okay? So there was a coach that I worked with last year. Her name is Dr. Libby Adams, and she talked about this. She talked about minding your T, T-E-A, T-E-A. T-E-A for her was thoughts, emotions, and actions. That's how she used that acronym. I think that's what it's called, acronym. And as she used this, she said, your thoughts are basically like the beginning stages of manifestation, okay? When you have a thought, if you think that thought long enough and you believe it to be true, you start to now charge it, okay, with emotion, okay? Start to charge it with emotion. When you charge something with feeling, you start to really anchor that into your nervous system. You start to anchor that into your subconscious mind. You start to now find reasons. Your RAS, your reticular activating system, now starts to find reasons to look for something that makes it true, right? So if you've never thought about a red Jeep before, and then all of a sudden, it comes into your awareness. You start to now see that red Jeep everywhere. It's always been there, but you just never noticed it. You never really picked it up because you're making it's called judgmental heuristics. Humans can only take in so much information at a given time. So you are looking to the outer world for certain things. You're finding what's true. It may not be true, but you are looking at it from your lens of perception, and you believe it to be true. Doesn't mean that it's universally true, but you believe it to be true. And because you believe it to be true, that's pretty valid. When your thoughts become emotions and they're very strong, you start to take action. Your action that you take now, that's the key right there, because the action that you take, if you take action, from a belief, from a thought, okay, I'm not good enough, your emotion already is from a very disempowered state. The action that you take from there now becomes, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm fucked. This is not going to work out. And from that disempowered state, you take action. What do you think the outcome is really going to be? What do you think is realistically going to happen? And that's what I talked about pretty much in that live stream. That's what I talked about here in how to become someone else. Now, obviously, this is just the beginning of this YouTube channel. This is just video number 1, right? One of however many I did. This was on November the 30th, 6 views. I don't give a shit if it doesn't have 6,000 or 6 million, whatever. The fact that people are searching for things like this is just already indicating to me, okay, maybe I need to make more videos like this. Maybe I need to make more live streams like this. Because I realize that, I guess, people are hurting, you know, people are searching for answers. They want to feel better about themselves. They want to feel better about themselves. And my heart goes out to people that do go through that stuff, you know? Because there was a time where, hey, look, for me, there was a time for me where I felt like a loser. I felt like not good enough. I still do it sometimes, you know? It's not to say I'm perfect. The charge is significantly less. Sure. And it helps when I really try to force myself to be more authentic, and I force myself to speak how I speak, think how I think, and move from the world in that way. I'm bringing this all up because today's live stream was inspired based on that. And this is what I've seen. And my guess is that, okay, if people are searching for this, then I'm going to start to make more videos and live streams that are circling around this topic. And for me as well, I will also be covering more videos about like success, because I know that in my head, in my mind, I've made that a very big deal. And if it's true that this channel is just going to be a reflection of who I really am, then I'm just attracting more versions of myself or past versions of myself. And if I can attract the past versions of myself and tell them, hey, it's going to be okay, you know, don't put the money on a pedestal. Don't do that to yourself. That's a lot of gain. That's a lot of gain on the transmitter. Let's see if I could really do that and make someone's life a little bit better, help someone unfuck themselves a little bit more, that'll all be worth it, I think. I think so. Anyway, and that brings me up to today's topic, right? So like I was saying, I'm finding now that there's more and more videos that are gaining more traction. It doesn't matter if it's 6 videos. It doesn't fucking matter, because there's some videos that have 0 views. Look, there are some videos that have 0 fucking views. Like yesterday's video. Yesterday's video had 0 views, okay? And a couple of videos that I did have 0 views, okay? Look. Okay, this has 2 views. Let's see here. I don't know what all these numbers mean just yet. But look, there's one video that has 0 views. And then there's other ones, okay? And it seems like this one seems to be getting more views. How to become someone else. And it's under 43 minutes, actually. So that's interesting. So that already tells me it's probably a time thing as well, which means that it's very likely that if I start making videos that are about this time length, maybe, just maybe, that gets more views. Maybe, just maybe, that gets more views. So I'm like being a detective right now. It would be great if I had like the video effects here to do that, to make that happen. Okay. All right. So getting back to the topic of today's live stream, feeling cringe. Okay. You feel cringe. Why? Because you believe something about yourself which probably isn't true, or you have a trapped emotion, and that trapped emotion is causing you to react to something in the outer world. So if someone does something embarrassing or awkward, it's not them. Ironically enough, it's not them. They have nothing to do with how you feel. It's you. It's not them, it's you. Because you have that energy alive inside of you. That's why you feel cringe. And I could look at my videos and you know what? I do feel cringe about myself because you know what? I'm actually going to do this right now. I had unlisted a video on my channel about me taking LSD. And I kept it unlisted. There you go. Oh shit. Ay, ay, ay. Maybe one day. Damn, I thought that was... all right, whatever. I thought I made it public. Either way, let's get back to this. Yeah, I made this video, this EFT tapping live stream. I had it set to private. I thought I had it unlisted. And it was me tapping while I was on LSD. And I was letting go of a lot of inner anger, a lot of inner rage that I was feeling. And I was using EFT, which I found to be incredibly helpful, to use EFT to process these emotions and to process what I was feeling. I've had times where I would see someone, or someone would say something to me, and then I would have this kind of reaction to it. I don't know how to put that into words, except that it was this involuntary internal spasm in my body. Release. It was this internal spasm in my body. Okay, it's coming out now. This internal spasm in my body. I don't know what that means. Makes me feel embarrassed. To stop cringing at yourself, to stop cringing about something is ultimately to accept who you are. Let me ask you a question. Do you accept yourself? I heard in my inner voice just now, no. And that's the work today. That's what we're going to be doing today. Let's figure this out here. All right. Let's go into prayer here. As they say, put God first before everything you do. I don't know who they is, but I've heard that word. I have heard that quote before, that phrase before. Put God first before anything you do. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Forgive our debtors as we forgive our debts. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive our trespassors. And forgive our trespassers as we forgive our trespassers. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you, God, for this day. Thank you, God, for this live stream. Thank you, God, for the opportunity to share this gift on this Christmas day and give the gift of acceptance and help others accept who they are. May these words echo into people's hearts and minds and help them accept who they truly are. Thank you. All right, let's go with the setup statement here. Let's figure this out. First things first, let's drop this arrow. All right, I need to get a tissue. I'll be right back. All right. So if you've never done EFT before, all of the points are down in the description. I'm eventually gonna make a small short video because it's I don't know. It just makes more sense to do that. Okay, let's go. Right, I'm bringing that point up because if you see this beyond today's date, beyond the 25th of December, 2025, and you look in the description box and you don't see the thing there and you're like, what are you talking about? It's because I replaced all the text with a video link so that you can see it. And that's it. All right. And then the video link will probably have, the shorts will have a video link back to the live stream page or back to the most recent live stream, which is a playlist probably. Yeah, let me actually write that down. Create a reminder.
What do you want to be reminded about?
Create a YouTube short displaying all of the EFT tapping points and then link the video shorts back to the live stream playlist.
Okay, I added it.
Okay, let's go. So today's setup statement is going to be about, well, the reason why you feel cringe is because you don't accept yourself. That's very likely what it is. You don't accept yourself, right? You're cringe about who you are. There's something that needs attention. That's something that it's not, you haven't addressed. It could be a trapped emotion. It could be an echo, which is basically like a younger version of yourself or a memory that you just can't let go of. It could be a IFS part. It could be even a shadow. There's something about yourself that you just don't accept, right? I think ultimately all these terms are all saying the same thing in some regard. There is something inside of you that is traveling back into time and you're not free in that timeline energetically or, psychologically speaking. And you need to bring those elements of you either back to God's light for permanent and everlasting transmutation and transformation. Thank you very much. Or you need to bring it back into your heart, have compassion for yourself, and accept more of who you are. So you're probably feeling cringe because you don't accept yourself. So we're going to create an EFT setup statement around that, right? This is all off the top of the dome. Right? This is not like I'm reading a script, and we're going to EFT tap today on the setup statement. right? So you have to figure out what works for you. Figure out what feels right for you. And if you want to replace your own EFT setup statement, you do that, all right? But the point is, hey, we got to do the work. We got to do the inner work, because if we don't do the inner work, we're very likely going to be chasing things in the outer world, external validation and all this bullshit. And now that bullshit is going to keep us stuck. So we don't want to be stuck. We don't want to fuck ourselves into a worse hole. We want to unfuck our lives. And this is how we do it. We make sure that we tap on whatever is inside of us, whatever bullshit we're feeling, and we make sure that we're in a good state. Very simple. So let's do this. Yes, in the future, I will have some music on. That's true. That's true. I will have some music on, and we'll create a better vibe here. But for right now, this is where I am. Okay? I'm doing this one thing at a time. One small improvement at a time. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm learning to accept who I am now. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm learning to accept who I am now. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm learning to accept who I am now. Even though I feel cringe about myself, maybe I can accept who I am. Eventually, even though I feel cringe about myself, I choose to accept myself. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm choosing to accept who I am. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm choosing to accept who I am. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm choosing to accept who I am now. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm choosing to accept who I am now. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm choosing to accept who I am now. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm choosing to accept who I am now. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm choosing to accept who I am now. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm choosing to accept who I am now. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm choosing to accept who I am now. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm choosing to accept who I am now. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm choosing to accept who I am now. Even though I feel cringe about myself, I'm choosing to accept who I am now. Oh. Okay. So that was also the first round. I got to get better at doing this. All right. That was the first round, and now we have the freestyle round. All right. So now the freestyle round is basically just thinking of a memory or anything that comes up that's related to you feeling cringe. And the definition of the cringe was what? It was when someone... Oh, I got to really change that up better. The definition of cringe is what? When someone acts or is so embarrassing or awkward, it makes you feel extremely ashamed or embarrassed. And it has, again, nothing to do with that person. It's just what's alive inside of you. It's just an energy that's alive inside of you. So the energy that's alive inside of us, that's what has to change. The outer world isn't going to change. The outer world does not give a fuck. The outer world is going to probably find experiences to make you cringe. So there's probably an experience where you felt awkward or embarrassed. So what you're going to do now in this round, in this freestyle round, is you're going to make this big ass projector. Oh, that's another one. You're going to make this big ass projector, and you're going to see yourself on that big ass projector. You're going to see yourself on that big ass projector. And on that big ass projector, you're going to see that memory or whatever that thing is, that time or that memory is that you felt awkward or embarrassed. What are you doing? Camera. Oh boy. What is it doing? What are you doing, camera? All right, good enough. You're going to put that projector on the screen, think about that movie, and you're going to tap on it, okay? And as you tap on it, you're going to talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it and feel it, all right? We're living in an era right now where people don't want to feel their shit, and they fucking take medications, antidepressants, whatever. Instead of fucking actually talking about the shit and really feeling into it, people are avoiding it. No, I'm not a fucking trained psychologist. But do you really think that they fucking even do a really good job? I don't know. I personally, I don't think so. I don't think so. No offense, no disrespect. Give me ayahuasca any day and I will figure out my own shit. Maybe it's not good for most people. I don't know. Or maybe we just haven't been taught how to actually handle and process what's going on up in here, because we don't do the inner work, because they don't fucking teach this stuff in school, in the elementary system, in the public school systems. They don't teach this. They teach you math and science, but they don't teach you the fucking fundamentals of being human, which is that we all have feelings, we all have emotions, we all have insecurities, we all have our own bullshit, we all experience trauma, we all take things up the ass, in the ass, whatever the fuck. We all have our own things where something happened to us and it fucks us up and it affects us for the rest of our lives. I think we all have that. So let's stop pretending. Let's fucking be honest here and let's be real. Please, for fuck's sake. For fucking fuck's sake. Oh, you're cursing too much. Yeah, because I've had a lot of traumatic experiences. Of course. Yeah. Wouldn't you? Unless you have a very privileged life and you fucking have been sheltered your whole life. No, I've been homeless. I've been assaulted sometimes. I've been fucking having my daughter taken away. I've had shit happen to me. Of course I'm gonna curse. Either way, back to the fucking live stream, back to the EFT. First round, freestyle round. Here we go. Talk and vent and let that bullshit out. I say some things. Again, use your own words if you want to, or otherwise, tap with me. You get borrowing benefits either way. It doesn't matter. Tap with me, figure out your own words, whatever. I do remember times when I was awkward. I do remember times when I was a kid. When I was younger, before I was 17 years old, I liked girls a lot. I wanted to have sex with a lot of girls. I wanted to have sex with a lot of girls when I was younger. And I didn't because I was, number one, homeless. And I already thought from that age, being homeless equals being a loser. So because I thought that in my head already from that time period of my life, being homeless equals being a loser, I didn't ask girls out. I didn't I shied away from girls a lot because I felt really embarrassed. I felt really embarrassed and ashamed of myself, of how I was living. Who is gonna love me? Who is gonna love me if I'm living and sleeping on a rollaway bed? And these were the thoughts that were going on in my head at that time when I was that age, at between 12 and 17 years old. These were the thoughts that were going on in my head. I felt like I was a loser. I felt like a real loser. Yeah. And I felt really embarrassed. I felt very awkward. I felt very ashamed of myself. I felt like I wasn't good enough. And the way I acted, right? Because that's the definition. When someone acts or is so embarrassing or awkward, it makes you feel extremely ashamed or embarrassed. I felt like I was very embarrassing. I felt like I was a very sorry human being. Especially when I was 12 years old. I remember when I was 12 years old and we were evicted from our apartment. My biological father was never around. It was me and my biological mother. And I remember, and I'm ashamed to say this, there was a kid. He was so irritating. Do you know like those kids in school that were so fucking irritating that you just like, fucking stop, man. Stop. I'm not going to say his name. I know his name. And if I ever see him again, I apologize. I really do. But man, this guy was so annoying to me at this time. And the stress of being homeless and everything, I wasn't probably even aware of this. I don't know. But it was just so irritating hearing this guy. And I remember one of the first time I met him in elementary school, he kept saying chimp channel, chimp channel. What the fuck does that even mean? Maybe that was like a show or something at that time. Either way, 12 years old, homeless. I remember this time that I was not bullying him, I would say, but it was me and this other kid. And we were like running after him after school. And I did not physically like, hurt him or something like this. At least not me. I don't know about the other kid. But we ran after him into his house, into his apartment building. And I feel bad about that still. But I have compassion for myself. And I was pretending to like wrestle and stuff like this. I don't know about the other kid. He, I think, was very scared. And obviously because the very next day, the dean of the school basically called me and the other kid and we got in trouble. And I have no idea like what happened with that kid. Like that could have been really psychologically traumatizing. But when I look at that memory, when I look at that experience, I understand and I recognize that karma Karma came back to me immediately. Why? Because a few days after that, I was punched in the back of the ear by these black kids, and they were chasing after me. I ran past the New York City bus and into like some liquor store, and I was crying. I was in tears. I was scared. And that I knew, I came to that realization a couple of years ago that like, oh shit, that was the karma. That was the karma. That was the thing that I did to this kid. And now the universe is paying me back. Now the universe is giving that right back to me. And I accept that. I really accept that. And I cringe at myself at that time. When I think about it, I'm like, man, this is not the way. This is not who I choose to be. This is not the right person to be. This is not the right energy. That's not the right person to be. And I wasn't the right person. And I remember just being really cringe. Very awkward. Very awkward. I was very awkward around girls. I was very awkward. And I felt very embarrassed. I felt very embarrassed for myself. And that's all I projected. That's probably what I projected out into the outer world. It's just this really cringy, cringe lord guy that was a cringe lord. I was this cringe lord. Why was I so cringe? I don't know. I do not know why I was so cringe. Actually, that's another lie from my nervous system. I know why I was so cringe because I'm fucking saying why I'm so cringe. Why would I say I don't know why I was so cringe? I let that go from my nervous system now. And I remember there was this one time where Yolanda, Sarah, and I there you go. That's the release. Remember, yawning, burping, farting. That's the release. I remember Yolanda, Sarah. It was the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Around that time, we were homeless. She wanted to go to the Puerto Rican Day Parade, not to have a good time, but to basically make some sort of like a political statement and basically advocate and basically say like, hey, I need help here because we have been illegally evicted from our apartment, etc., etc. And she made these posters, and she made sure, she really premeditated this. She got posters from the 99-cent store. She got the markers. She made me write down all these things. I can't remember what the fucking paperboard said. She made me write down all this bullshit with her. And then we went to this Puerto Rican Day Parade. And I remember that feeling. I remember that feeling and how it felt. open up that poster. I did not want to open up that poster. Like I said, I was a horny young boy, or a horny young man, whatever you want to call it, right? Man, child, boy, young man, whatever. It doesn't matter, whatever. I was this teenage male with hormones, and I wanted lots and lots of sex. Oh, if that sounds cringy, oh, guess what? There's something inside of you that's embarrassed or feels awkward. Pay attention. And I was feeling that embarrassment when there was all these hot Puerto Rican girls, and I had to take out that sign and display that poster. And you know what happened? There's all these people. You got to really get up early if you want to get to the front. And that's exactly what we did. The Puerto Rican Day came in June. I forget what year it was, but this was probably between 2000 and 2005. 2001 and 2006. Yes. Between 2001 and 2006. Puerto Rican Day Parade. It's in June, between 2001 and 2006. Right. Because I was homeless around 9/11. So 2001 to 2006, right? That's the timeline. That's the possibility. We wake up early. We go to the Puerto Rican Day Parade. We get there early enough to be standing right by the barricades so that you can see the parade and all this stuff, because she wanted to be seen. Because she could not accept that, hey, look, you stopped going to work and you got fired as a result of not going to work. What do you think is going to happen? You don't own a business. What do you think? You think you're entitled to fucking take days off from work? Are you fucking crazy? Are you mental, Yolanda Serra? And we get there at that time, early, by the barricades. People started showing up. It's packed. Again, it's New York City. Lots of Puerto Ricans in New York City. It's packed. And there's lots of girls. So there I am, pulling out the posters, displaying the posters overhead, just like Yolanda Serra told me to, because if I did not do what she wanted me to do, she was going to scream at me and yell at me and be a bitch. And I really wanted to be emancipated at that time. I'm just being so honest, because she was a very irresponsible fucking parent. And she did not have it together. And I was already just so fed up with being in that situation, being around her, being around these relatives. And I was like, all right, if this is going to actually help, all right, fine. Take these posters, put it out. There's these girls. And then what happens? There is this one girl standing on the opposite end of the street. She's having a good time at first. Okay? She's having a good time at first. And then she notices us. She notices the sign. And then she's like, it was like she made this face and then she's looking at it and she's reading the sign and thing like this. And you would think maybe she would have compassion. She'd be like, oh, they probably are going through some shit. No, no. She was also a bitch. She was also an absolute bitch. You know why? Because she started to say, take those fucking signs down. Because it was probably killing her vibe from having a good time. And she didn't like it. This stranger that we did not know, they didn't know us. They're at the Puerto Rican Day Parade. We're at the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Normally, you should be at the Puerto Rican Day Parade to have a good time. Sure. But Yolanda Serra had her own agenda. That person had their own agenda too. There was a conflict. There was a crack, a collision, basically. And I'm assuming that whatever it is that that person read, that triggered them. But obviously, Yolanda's, and the thing is, like, Yolanda's, the lady was like, not even a lady, like a young woman, a young girl, right? Probably like less than 21 years old or something like this. A little tiny fucking girl that's in her world. And it's all about her. She has to have a good time. She wanted to fight Yolanda Serra. She was like, fucking take that shit down, you stupid bitch. But obviously she wasn't going to skip the barricade to fight Yolanda Serra. She wasn't going to do that. So it was this really stupid, awkward moment where it was like, she's angry. She wants to fight Yolanda Serra. Yolanda Serra knows she's not going to cross the barricade. So then what does she do? What does she do? She's like, it's like, what the and it was just cringe. After a while, I was just like, oh my God, this is, oh. But then it also helped me too, because it just made me give a fuck less. Just a little bit less. I still gave a fuck, but it made me give a fuck just a little bit less. A little bit less. And I know that it was only their perceptions, because there was a man that came through. He was in the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Okay, this was probably before the time that, this was around the time where it was really just men and women, right? There was no other genders assigned here. It was just man, woman, right? Male, female. And that's how I grew up. But I understand that there are different classifications now, different ways of addressing people now. So this man is in the Puerto Rican Day Parade. He's a politician, and he sees the sign. He comes up and he's like, oh, like this was so, okay, give me your information, and then let's meet up and let's talk about this. So he had a different perception. He saw it a bit differently. And I think that was helpful for Yolanda Serra. I think it was helpful for her, because her intention, her goal was to fix the wrong of the eviction. She said it's an illegal eviction, etc., etc. But she didn't have money to fucking fight that case. So what do you think happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing happened. You know what happened? We were still homeless. Ever since I was 12 years old, it's been 24 years. 24 years. Yolanda Serra still does not have her own place. For me, it is the greatest, I wouldn't say tragedy, but it's like it's one of the greatest pains for me, because I would really love to buy her own place. I would really love to do that and get her own apartment, renting, whatever. It's just right now, my financial situation, after all this self-sabotage and not being able to get to the next level financially, has prevented me from doing so. It's prevented me from being able to financially contribute. And that makes me feel embarrassed. That makes me feel not good enough. That makes me feel like I'm not a man. I feel like a man-child. 36 years old. 30 fucking 6 years old. It doesn't feel good. It does not feel good. There were other experiences. That was the main one, though, that I could call off the top of that surfaced from my subconscious mind that probably needed to be expressed and to release, to be free. It was that feeling of feeling awkward and embarrassed. There would be other times in my life where I felt awkward and embarrassed, for sure. But that one in particular stood out. And if that was the definition of cringe for me, that would be cringe. It was the cringe. It was like Yolanda Serra is so cringe that she would go out of her way to make these posters that garnered attention in, for me, a negative way as I perceived it. Because it was like not good. It was not like people were looking at the signs and it was like really fucking up the vibe, the energy. I get why she did it. But ultimately it did not help because I think we did meet with that politician and he didn't do shit. You know why he didn't do shit? Because Yolanda Serra fucking told a goddamn movie script story instead of just being really direct and straight to the point. We had an eviction that I believe was illegal and I need help to fix this fucking thing. Can you help me? Done. Instead, she's fucking telling this whole story about her fucking life. And this guy is trying to be nice and pay attention and shit. And he's like, well, what are you fucking saying? This is time from my life that I'm never going to get back. An hour of her fucking talking. And this was a constant thing. This was a very constant thing when I was growing up from that time period. This was a fucking constant thing. And I realized that it was my reaction. It was my reaction to how I perceived all of these things. So yes, while she did succeed in getting the attention of a politician to listen to her, she did not ultimately succeed in getting that apartment back. She is still technically homeless. For the last 18 years, she has been living on a couch with her sister. And the last time that I spoke to her, which was a couple years ago, what did she say? She said, I'm waiting for public housing to give me an apartment. You're going to be waiting for a long time. You're going to be waiting for a long time, darling. Because the unfortunate truth is that you are a single woman. You have no family. You have no husband. You have no kids that are disabled in the city of New York with a population size of 8 million people. You already are living with a family member. You already are living on a couch. And for some people, that's plenty. So you're not a priority. And I hate to say it like this, but you're not. You are at this stage now on Social Security, no longer on public assistance. You haven't contributed any value to the world. Unfortunately, I hate to say this. And I don't want to say it in this way because it sounds fucked up, but in the eyes of probably other people, it's probably closer to true. And that's probably how people would perceive it. You've got no value. You dropped out of high school. What do you think is going to happen? People are not going to care. And this is what Ham and I were talking about yesterday. I really wish that I could. I really, really wish that I could get Yolanda Serra a place. I wish I had the financial resources to do that. And I think to myself, why hasn't it happened yet? And the only reasons why I could think about this is because maybe God didn't intend it that way for me to have that success just yet, that financial success. Maybe I am successful in other ways, and I'm just so fixated on financial success and making a name for myself and all these societal conditionings that have been deeply imprinted into my brain at this stage that I only see financial success as the success. Very possible. Very, very, very possible. And so how I feel right now is like, I feel embarrassed for myself. Because maybe all the stuff that I just said right now about Yolanda Serra is just me. Right? Maybe I've got no value. Maybe I have contributed nothing to the world. But I'm gonna do my part to change that. You know, I have had the YouTube channels before, and I've done the best that I could to make as many videos as I possibly could. But maybe now it's about me. It's about me maybe now figuring out how to do this to a greater level now. Be of greater service. And I want to be. I want to release all this awkwardness from my body. I want to show up and be a better person now. I want to do my part. Maybe I felt awkward before about myself. Maybe I judged Yolanda Serra. Maybe she was just trying. You know, I think we're all trying our best at this stage now. And I see that. Before I thought like, oh, why can't you do this? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do this? Fucking go, do it. But some people are just tired, man. Some people may honestly just be giving it the absolute best that they have. And that should be enough. That should honestly be enough. Doing the best you can with what you have. Man, I feel so cringe. Or at least I used to. I used to feel so cringe. I used to feel so awkward. Why would I feel so awkward? I felt so extremely ashamed and embarrassed by my biological mother. And that gets me sad because I can see that this person was trying. At this stage, I see that this person was trying. And they probably felt helpless. They probably felt not good. And I felt cringe about myself because I wasn't accepting this. I wasn't accepting, hey, like, maybe this is who I am. Can I surrender to who I am right now? And can I accept where I am? And when I realized, oh, okay, that was a signal, that was feedback. Yeah, I have to choose now. Do I surrender and accept who I am now? Maybe this is who I am. These are my experiences. Wow. That's a release. When it comes to Yolanda Serra, when it comes to all this feeling awkward and ashamed and embarrassed, it's just me. It has nothing to do with Yolanda Serra. It's just me. But I projected that onto her. I projected that onto other people. I projected that onto the kid that I bullied. I was the cringe one. I was cringe because I felt ashamed and awkward and embarrassed about myself. I couldn't accept who I was. My identity, my beliefs about myself, I believed that I was the type of person who was awkward, ashamed. Who's gonna love me? And I think that's what it ultimately comes down to. I watched, it's ironic because I was thinking about this. What are the two main triggers of why people do something? It's either coming from a state of love or a state of fear. And then I heard that somewhere from someone else who I no longer have a relationship with. But I also heard this from Brad Yates, the EFT Tapping with Brad Yates. Tap with Brad. He said in one of his videos from years ago, over 10 years ago, he said that. Love or fear. Those are the two. Those are strong emotions. Those are really, really strong emotions. And these emotions have kept me trapped. They've kept me stuck. And I don't choose that anymore. Okay, now we're going to transition. Okay, we wrapped up the freestyle round. Now we're going to transition here, all right? Did really go so far. Wow. Even though I couldn't accept myself, I think I can now. Even though I could not accept myself, I think I can now. Even though I could not accept myself, I think I can now. Even though I could not accept myself, I think I can now. Even though I could not accept myself, I think I can now. Even though I could not accept myself before, I think I can now. I don't have to be cringe. That's something that I believed about myself. I acknowledge that I was just in vibrational resonance with cringe because there was something awkward within me. I believed something was awkward. I believed I should feel embarrassed. I couldn't be human I couldn't allow myself to be human. I had to be something I wasn't. Therefore, I couldn't accept myself. But I choose to accept myself now. I choose to accept myself. I choose to love myself for who I am. I choose to have more compassion for myself. Was I embarrassed before about who I was? Yeah, sure. But I don't have to be that now. I can love myself now. I can be really good to myself now. I choose to let all that stuff go. You know? I don't want to be that type of person anymore where I feel awkward or ashamed of myself. I don't have to be that. I can be okay with myself. I can accept who I am. I can love myself for who I am. And I choose to love myself for who I am. I choose to accept myself for who I am. No, you don't. Create a reminder.
What do you want to be reminded about?
EFT tapping topic, I don't love myself or I hate myself.
Okay, I added it.
Yes, I remember those times where I felt like I was ugly. I felt like I was unattractive. Who would love me? Who would love me because I was homeless? Who would love me because I'm poor? Right? That's the idea. That's the societal conditioning, I think. Who's going to love someone because they're poor? Because from what I see and what I've observed is that society favors men who have society favors men who have. And who could I be if I was Cringe? Who could I be? I would not have. I would not have because I was homeless. I was poor. I'm still not financially in the best spot possible. And that makes it difficult for me to accept myself. But I choose to. I choose to accept myself for who I am. Maybe I can accept myself for who I am. Maybe I don't have to be this type of person anymore where I feel cringe. Maybe it's okay to be me. Maybe it's all right. Maybe I don't have to be this tryhard anymore. Maybe I can love myself for who I am. Maybe I can love myself for where I am. Maybe I can be kinder to myself. And if I just let go of this energy, if I let go of this emotional charge of feeling cringe, then there's nothing outside of me that would make me cringe. I wouldn't feel awkward or embarrassed. It has nothing to do with that person. It has nothing to do with Francis being cringe. Francis is not cringe. That guy over there is not cringe. That girl is not cringe. It's me. It's me that feels awkward. It's me that felt embarrassed. But I'm choosing to accept myself now. I'm choosing to no longer be cringe. Why? Because I'm choosing now to accept myself. I'm choosing now to love who I am. I'm choosing now to raise my vibration and consciousness so that I love myself. I'm choosing to feel good. I deserve to feel good about myself. I deserve to feel okay. I don't have to be this person anymore that feels cringe. I can be okay with myself. And I'm not going to project my insecurities onto that guy over there. I'm not going to project my insecurities onto that girl. I'm not going to project my insecurities onto Francis anymore. I'm going to take ownership for how I feel, and I'm going to acknowledge and accept who I am and how I feel. And when I make that my priority, I know that it has nothing to do with the outer world. It's got nothing to do with Sally. It's got nothing to do with Peggy Sue. It's me. It's me. And anytime that I do encounter an experience that makes me cringe, I'm going to stop myself and I'm going to know, hey, it's got nothing to do with that guy over there. It's got nothing to do with that girl. It's got everything to do with me. It's got everything to do with me. Because there's a part of me that feels ashamed of myself. There's a part of me that feels embarrassed. And that's a trapped emotion. That's an echo. And it's up to me now to do the inner work necessary to alchemize my inner bullshit. Fuck, that hurt. It's up to me now to alchemize my inner bullshit. It's up to me to look at myself in the mirror and say, hey, where am I not loving myself more? Where am I not showing up and accepting who I am? Am I really accepting who I am? Or am I being a fucking phony? Am I being a fake? Very likely. So what is it that I need to do? And I accept that. I surrender to that. Maybe it's just between me and God. Maybe at the core of all the things that I believe, it's just between me and God, or my inner divine, or the universe. And maybe I feel the way I feel because I don't accept how I was created. Maybe I don't accept my creator. But I choose to let this go now. I choose to let all forms of non-acceptance go from my nervous system now. Violet flame, violet flame, violet flame. Dissolve, consume, annihilate, obliterate, and transmute all shame and embarrassment and awkwardness from my subconscious mind, from my conscious mind, from my physical body, from my emotional body, and my nervous system now. In the name of God and my mighty I am presence that I am, my great divine spirit team, subconscious mind, and the great white brotherhood of the highest vibrational frequency and consciousness, with your unconditional love and support, in your names I command, declare, and decree that I accept myself. I accept myself. I accept who I am. I accept the color of my skin. I accept the way that I speak. I accept the space between my teeth. I accept my hair being messy in the morning because I just woke up. I choose to accept everything about myself that I can possibly accept. Now we're going to move on to the positive round. Okay? I choose to accept all those things. I choose to really accept and love myself. I'm choosing to be okay with who I am. I'm choosing to make who I am okay. I can love myself, I think. Yeah, why not? Why not give myself more love? Why not give myself more compassion? Why not have more empathy for myself? Yes, there were certain experiences where I felt awkward. But I'm choosing to let that go now. I'm choosing to accept who I am. I'm choosing to be okay with myself. I'm choosing to take it easy. I'm choosing to love what is. This is who I am. The guy that has gap teeth, or the girl that has flat hair, fill in the blank. The guy that has ball sacks under his eyes. Okay, roger that. I can accept that. I can accept that I'm getting older. 36 years old. Gonna be 37 on the 30th of December. I accept that. In 5 days, I'm gonna be 37 years old, and I am out of status here in Austria. I have to file for asylum. I have 2 kids, with the second one being on the way. I've got no job. A very financially successful client turned friend is financially supporting me. And while that used to embarrass a part of myself, it doesn't anymore. Because I accept who I am. And like Jesus said, if they, or someone said, actually, you know what? Whoever said it, whoever said it, however they said it, whoever said it, if they find something against you, if they find something to use against you and to say bad about you, reveal the next thing. Like, yes, and I just choose to be that. I choose to make sure I leave it all out on the table. I choose to make sure that I speak my truth. There was a YouTube video I saw yesterday, about a young man. He's very good looking, very attractive young man, physically. And I heard his story about, I think his name was Manish Rao. And I saw this video where he was talking about an experience with a girl. He really liked this girl, and this girl wasn't giving him this time of day because he was, overweight or something like this. And I could see how that affected him. And I could see, like, wow, this guy has a fucking heart. This guy has he's got a heart. And he was hurt. And what he's saying is ultimately, like, he just wants love. He wants companionship, as anyone else does. I don't know if we're meant to go through life alone. And he was doing everything he could to change himself so that he could be attractive for women. And I resonate with that. I resonated with that a lot. And here he is, trying to be something he's not. Trying to wear certain clothes and work out and look a certain way, looks maxing. And he's trying because he wants that love. He wants to be attractive. Come on, man. What the fuck? Hello. What is that saying in the Bible or Jesus or someone where if they basically find something to say bad about you, you add on to that by saying, yes, and you forgot this thing too? Where does that come from? Question mark. Yeah. But maybe I can accept myself now. Maybe it can be all right. Maybe I can accept who I am and love myself as I am. And I choose that. I choose to accept myself. I choose to love who I am. I choose to be good to myself. I choose to be all right. And I make that my priority now. I was feeling awkward. I was feeling embarrassed. But now, not anymore. I'm all right. I am okay. And it's going to be okay. I have compassion for myself. I choose to accept myself more. I choose to find out what's inside of me. I choose to pay attention to my emotions. I choose to take care of my well-being. I choose to take care of my mental health, my emotional health, my physical health. I choose to make sure that I take care of myself holistically. Because no one else will. And there's so much inside of me that I've kept hidden. Doesn't matter whether man or woman, we all have emotions. We all feel a certain way. Everyone's emotions are valid. The way I feel is valid. The way you feel is valid. The way we feel is valid. And what I'm saying is why? What is the bigger thing behind that? What is the bigger reason why we feel the way we feel? It's because there's trapped emotions. It's because there are things that we have not looked at. We have tried to bury it. We have literally stored all our shit in a chamber. The secret chamber of astral horror, our fucking closet, and there are skeletons in there, and it needs our attention. That's where we are. And that's where the fuck we are. And we gotta let that thing go. We gotta let it go now. And I'm choosing to let it go. I'm choosing to be okay with what is. I'm choosing to be in a good state. I'm choosing to make that my priority in life. Living my life from a very good inner state. That's what I'm choosing for myself. Living my life from a very good inner state. Being all right with what is. Being all right with myself. Being all right with who I am. And making that my priority. And that's enough. And that's totally enough. And I feel good about that. I feel really, really, really good about that. And if it's just between me and God, then maybe God gives me those experiences to feel cringe so that way I can look at myself. Because it's ultimately just between me and God anyway. So thank you, God. Thanks for helping me. Thank you so much for helping me address my cringe and unfuck that cringe energy and regulate my nervous system. Thank you very much. And I can relax now. And I can be with what is. And I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with this. And I accept what is. And so it is. Okay, take 3 deep breaths. 3 deep breaths. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Thank you, God. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, Universe. Thank you, Mighty I Am Presence. Thank you, Great Divine Spirit Team. Thank you for helping us dissolve all forms of feeling of awkward and embarrassed and helping us accept ourselves as we are. All right. If you found today's live stream helpful and you want to keep going with your own EFT stuff, you can download my free EFT GPT at imgabrielserra.com. And I'll see you on the next one, okay? Come back tomorrow at 4:32 a.m. Central European Time, Austria time, and let's keep doing this in the work, all right? See you later. Oh, do I want to keep saying that? Remember to, and always remember, we love you, God loves you, you are loved. Namaste.